More than a third of adults in the US say they are neither Republican nor Democrat. A majority of Americans have consistently told pollsters they want a third political party. Al Jazeera's Shihab Rattansi went to New Jersey in search of some of the alternatives.
Hey, how you doing today?
Very well.
Making America healthy again.
Anyone born in the US has the right to run for president. It's in the Bill of Rights. And this health food restaurateur in New Jersey is one of the some 1,500 presidential candidates registered with the Federal Election Commission for 2016.
It's the American dream. You could be whatever you want to be.
But can you? Can you become president?
See, that's the challenge, and that's another reason I'm on this platform is for the people, by the people. They want regular citizens governing our country. We got to change the system because if a hard-working American can't become president, that eliminates 99% of our country. You know, so the 1% runs the 99.
Study after study has shown that the social mobility promised in the American dream long ago disappeared. And election after election has shown that only a few can viably run for the country's highest office.
We need a new way forward here that's not bought and paid for by predatory banks, by fossil fuel giants, and by war profiteers who are funding the current system.
Jill Stein was the Green Party presidential candidate in 2012 and hopes to be in 2016. Then she was on the ballot for nearly 85% of US voters. In 2016, she says it may be 95 to 100% of voters.
Hey man, Rod Silva, running for President of the United States, independent.
But even if a third party navigates 50 sets of electoral rules to get on each state's ballot, TV and newspapers are indifferent or hostile. Moreover, the Green and Libertarian parties are alleging in court that the Presidential Debate Commission is rigged to ensure only two parties are heard. Third parties hope that social media, which has proved so effective in bringing issues like race, inequality and climate change to the mainstream, will now make a difference amid growing national discontent with the Republicans and Democrats.
We didn't know the Berlin Wall was going to come down, and it did. We didn't know a lot of things were going to happen that happen in human history. Things do eventually change.
For the Greens, the forthcoming election is notable because Bernie Sanders' platform is so similar to theirs. Stein says the Democratic establishment will ensure he's not the nominee, but that even if he is, he would be just one man against a powerful Democratic Party machinery opposed to his goals.
It's like helping a friend break up with an abusive relationship. How long will you keep making excuses for a political party that is pushing you over the cliff?
In the last few weeks, the US mainstream media has been discussing an alternative to the Republicans and Democrats. But it's Michael Bloomberg, the billionaire tycoon. Nonetheless, those really hoping to challenge the establishment say a true breakthrough is possible.
Voila, that is perfecto.
Shihab Rattansi, Al Jazeera, New Jersey.
Well, in Shihab's report there, we heard from the Green Party candidate Jill Stein. We caught up with her at a rally in New Hampshire.
Clearly there's a great deal of attention paid to the horse race. Was Rubio humiliated at the last debate? Was Trump more subdued? Is Hillary Clinton likable? But for the people gathered here in this tent in New Hampshire, at the We the People convention, New Hampshire Rebellion, all of that's pretty irrelevant, because as far as they're concerned, the entire system has been bought. It doesn't really make a difference who's a Democratic or Republican nominee, because they're still beholden to the same corporate interests. Amongst those who believe that, and is here right now, is Jill Stein. She was the presidential nominee for the Green Party last time around. She hopes to be again this year. Dr. Stein, so how do you fight against such vested interests, such powerful interests who are trying to make sure that things don't change?
Exactly. You know, in my mind, it's all about getting organized and recognizing the power that we have. For example, there are 43 million young people and not so young people who are locked into debt. That 43 million is enough to actually win this race. We are the only campaign that will actually abolish student debt, that will cancel it like we did for the bankers who caused this meltdown through their waste, fraud, and abuse. It's about time to bail out the students. Just by getting that word out, we could effectively take over this election. In the words of Alice Walker, the biggest way people give up power is by not knowing we have it to start with. We rebels actually have the majority. We have the wind at our backs here. It's all about our developing a political foundation that's not going to disappear from one election to the next. In my view, the social movement needs a political voice in the form of the Green Party.
Right, but the polls suggest many of those young people facing debts, wanting change, are going to Bernie Sanders in the Democratic Party. Why isn't that the right route for them?
Well, you know, I don't want to be critical, and I'm very supportive of what Bernie's trying to do inside the Democratic Party. And, you know, what I disagree with is that you can have a revolution inside a counter-revolutionary party. The Democratic Party has a kill switch that they have used to basically sabotage campaigns like Bernie's, Jesse Jackson, Dennis Kucinich, Howard Dean. They created the Dean Scream. They have superdelegates. They have Super Tuesdays. This is how they use corporate money. Look, Bill Clinton is already gathering up the superdelegates to ensure that Hillary has the margin of safety for the nomination. So, you know, at the end of the day, we don't want to just have a good campaign that then gets devoured into Hillary Clinton's campaign. And at the end of the day, also let me say, you know, I don't think we want to pledge allegiance to a political party that fundamentally is committed to a war budget, which is devastating us economically and morally, to a war on terror that has created more terror, to privatizing our school systems, and to continuing students in a state of debt.
Jill Stein, thank you very much. Jill Stein of the Green Party. So, the mainstream media might be looking at the general horse race, but there seems to be a rebellion brewing, at least in this tent in New Hampshire and elsewhere around the country.
Stay with us. Still ahead on this NewsHour.